Breaking today, Prince Harry returned to court to support sobbing Liz Hurley through her evidence against the Daily Mail, but the repercussions from what he revealed on the stand continue to ricochet, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in Montecito too. Because trust me, this has been a devastating 24 hours for Prince Harry's marriage. He admitted, and we're going to get into this because the mainstream media are ignoring it, giving his phone number to Charlotte Griffiths, the Mail on Sunday journalist who is now acting as a propagandist for Prince Harry in his war with the British royal family, but also in part with his wife. Now, he claims he didn't know that she was a journalist at the time. Yeah, right. He's also admitted to being back in contact with another ex, another woman who got away, Natalie Pinkham. All of this explains why Meghan Markle was so furious about this case being brought in the first place. Now, we're going to analyse exactly what is going down with Lady Colin Campbell here in the United Kingdom and the Sidley twins of Twin Talks in the US. But of course, our coverage is backed up by our incredible AI recreations of Prince Harry in court. And there's another concern for Meghan. The fact that Harry has decided to bring out his first love, a woman who was very happy not to be in the public eye before this case, but now everyone in royal circles is talking about Laura Gerard Lee after this piece of evidence Harry provided yesterday. Watch.
We had a very brief but private relationship, which lasted for a matter of months. The fact that ANL journalists learned so quickly was therefore extraordinary. This article is a prime example of why my relationship with Laura did not last long. It led to Laura's parents being doorstepped, which was understandably distressing. This sort of thing caused me to try and keep matters as private as I could to avoid this happening. We had been out and about before as friends, but as soon as we were in a relationship, the press knew about it instantly and then suddenly went to a whole new level.
Oh my goodness. Lady Colin Campbell, the exes are back on the scene in so many ways. What did you make of this extraordinary evidence from Prince Harry and the fact that you can understand in a way why Meghan ain't happy?
Well, hello, Dan. I think this is... Oh, and hello to the Sidley twins.
I love it. We're transatlantic. I love your flags, ladies, by the way. Thank you for that.
For you guys.
I mean, Harry doesn't get it, does he? You know, he's the one who used to open up his mouth. He's the one who used to talk. And then he's surprised that things get leaked. I mean, who was ever going to know that the relationship had gone from, shall we say, above the dinner table to beneath the dinner table if Harry hadn't opened up his mouth? And also, Harry has always been a braggart. Let's remember that. Even in his book, you know, where he go, and I'm not going to mention her name, that poor girl who he said was a much older woman to whom he lost his virginity, when of course she's younger than Meghan. And so Harry's always bleating and being very proud of, shall we say, his swordsmanship. And then he's surprised that it gets out. But I mean, Dan, you know, and I certainly know as a result of being leaked information about through Harry's friends, the reason why Harry and Meghan wanted me to put in my book that the reason why she could not reconcile with her father was because of interference. This came directly from Harry and one of Harry's friends.
Totally. And so he says they're not leaky. It's not the truth, is it, Lady C?
Of course it's not the truth. They're constantly leaking. They're like sieves. And I mean, Harry goes from complaining in court about the attentions of the press and goes and complains to the press about the attentions of the press.
I mean, no,
Oh,
that's obviously ludicrous. Of course it is. And we understand that hypocrisy. But I would also just point out one of the reasons why there were times when Harry's friends were leaking to people like you, to people like me, to people like Katie Nicholl, was because they were trying to save the guy from himself. Actually, it wasn't always done with a nefarious motivation. But that's the problem with Harry. Everything is a conspiracy. Everything is a deep evil, and very, very often it's simply just not true. Sidley, before I bring you in, I just want to show you Harry arriving at court today. He was very happy, proud as punch. And he's doing this repel the paparazzi trick. Have you noticed this? So he wears identical clothing, even the same tie, and he thinks he's so clever, whereas I just think he's dirty. Watch this. Great, thank you. Well, Sidley's, should he really be feeling great after that evidence yesterday, where he also, by the way, argued with the judge in court, was highly inconsistent? I mean, should he be feeling great?
No, absolutely not. I can't imagine feeling great. It's like he's got his coronation walk back. Do you remember when he was walking during his dad's coronation to his seat, and he was like looking at the crowd and he was like, "Hey guys, what's up? Yeah.
And by the way, there was no one there.
Happened.
There were no
Anderson
fans.
Cooper never happened.
There were no
Book never
fans.
happened.
Can I just say?
Yeah, like
no, there were no fans. It was definitely journalists calling his name just to get the picture for their articles. Listen, in one word, smug, sloppy. Well, okay.
Yeah,
sloppy.
in America, we call that look sloppy. And it's really interesting how the States is taking this, because a lot of people don't know the backstory on how he has put himself with Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley and all these other people. People think that Harry is just suing the Daily Mail for privacy breaches, but they don't understand. Well, wait a second. In 2016, he's been fine with everybody else. He's the one who's been the leaker. And I don't understand why Harry is having such a problem. And the Daily Mail saying, well, you guys, palace briefings are all of a sudden illegal. It was the palace briefing the press, correct? What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
When Harry was part of the firm?
In some cases, absolutely it was. And this is the problem. As I say, I think there are some worrying moments for the Daily Mail. And remember, Harry only has to prove once that they did unlawfully do anything in order to procure a story. But there were some very bad moments for Harry overall. And I really want to get into something that, of course, the mainstream media is totally missing. But the fact that he actually admitted, I mean, not only did he admit to partying with Katie Nicholl, to the fact that there were these private calls to Rebecca English, which he claims he doesn't remember now, but in quite an astonishing moment, he admitted giving his phone number to Charlotte Griffiths. Now, Charlotte Griffiths is a really interesting one in all of this because, of course, she was the person who succeeded Katie Nicholl as the diary editor of the Mail on Sunday, but she's now the editor-at-large of that newspaper, constantly reporting pro-Harry stories from Harry's friends. And the Mail's lawyer put it to him that he had actually added Charlotte Griffiths on Facebook under this pseudonym Mr. Mischief. Now, he denies that. But what he couldn't deny is that he gave Charlotte Griffiths his phone number. He claims that he didn't know who she was at the time, but they had met at this party. So there is some form of relationship with them, even though he tries to claim, well, I had no idea who she was. Watch this.
I had no idea she was a journalist. I never used the name Mr. Mischief.
Did you meet her in Ibiza?
I don't think that can be right. I don't believe I have ever been to Ibiza other than with my now wife. My social circles were not leaky. I want to make that absolutely clear. I would have to cut contact with this person.
Lady C, the thing is, though, none of this adds up because he's admitting, okay, I gave Charlotte Griffiths my number. Then there are Facebook messages between them. She continued to break stories. She's now breaking a whole load of stories which paint Harry in a positive light. Do you think that this makes him look good in all of this? Because clearly there was some form of relationship. Look, I'm not saying it was a sexual or romantic relationship, but he did give her his number. And Harry really wasn't giving numbers out to people randomly unless there was an attraction there.
Yes, that's right. But also, Dan, Harry has been a great cultivator of the press. And let us remember that not only Charlotte Griffiths, who is still Josefa Goebbels, Mach 2.
Yes, the new Omen Scovey. Or what do you call him, Lady C?
Amid scabies, you must get his name right. Scabies. Itch, itch. And you could even add a B in front of it if you want. But also, he was on very cordial terms with Katie Nichols and with Rebecca English. And his pretense that he wasn't is ludicrous. And for him to try to make out now that Katie wasn't a part of his social circle, of course she was. I mean, she was often at things with him. She was definitely a part of his social circle. And Rebecca English had a more professional relationship, clearly professional relationship, I should say, with Harry. But she also had a very, shall we say, cooperative and amicable working relationship with Harry. And she was very open about it at the time. And so I don't know where all of this is coming from, except that Harry is a very stupid liar, because he thinks just because he is denying the undeniable, that Mr. Justice Nicklin is going to be dumb enough to believe it. And Mr. Justice Nicklin, I can tell you, because he oversaw my case against Daily Mirror.
Oh, I see.
And Mr. Justice Nicklin doesn't take prisoners. And I would be really surprised if Harry wins in this instance, because Mr. Justice Nicklin will bend over backwards to accommodate some of Harry's comments and be understanding of his emotional state, let's put it that way, because he needs to be like that to be able to make any judgment he gives appeal proof. Otherwise, it could, be grounds for appeal. But ultimately, I think he's going to come down very firmly on the fact that Harry is wildly inconsistent. Everything is about emotion. There's nothing really factual. I mean, I don't know what you think. I think the most dangerous thing to emerge was Mike Bear and that seat with Rebecca English. But you and I both know that he could have simply got the information from one of the check-in girls at the desk. I mean, it didn't have to be done through nefarious means. And most information that one gets, even very awkward information, usually comes in very harmless ways. Don't you think that's a fact?
Yes, 100%. I do think, though, there are a couple of problems for the Mail. And I've always said that I cover this totally independently as someone who, as you know, was a columnist for the Mail, but is absolutely disgusted by the fact that there does appear to have been journalists that were engaging in illegal, immoral, and unlawful practices. Now, I'm not saying in all of the cases, I'm really not, but I do believe that the emails, which involve Caroline Graham and involve Rebecca English and involve Duncan Luncombe at The Sun, in regards to procuring the seat numbers of Chelsea Davy on a British Airways flight, are going to be very difficult to explain. Obviously, we have to see how Rebecca English performs on the stand, but according to Harry's team, she's simply saying she doesn't remember the emails. I don't know if that's going to stack up. I really don't. But look, I want to talk about, well, actually, just before we come to Natalie Pinkham, firstly, Lady C, you talk about the judge. And the judge was, I think, to begin with, firm with Harry in this instance, and then he started to get more annoyed. But just take a look at this.
Part of Mr. White's job is to put allegations to you. This is a big moment. You're doing exactly what lots of litigants do. You tend to argue back about what he is putting to you. You don't have to bear the burden of arguing the case today that's for Mr. Sherborne.
I had a bad experience with Mr. Green.
You can simply say, I don't accept that, or I don't know about that.
I am intent on you not having a bad experience with me, but it is my job to ask you these questions.
But I think Harry was intent on it going badly, and so it did. So it's very interesting hearing from you, Lady C, that the judge is a no-nonsense type figure. But look, I want to talk about Natalie Pinkham Sidley's, because the other big revelation that emerged during the trial, and we know that Meghan Markle will be absolutely livid about this, is that Harry is back in contact with Natalie Pinkham. So Chris Shipp, who's of course one of the propagandists at Woke ITV News for Harry and Meghan, put it like this. Prince Harry tells the judge that Natalie Pinkham contacted him yesterday to say that she was not a source for stories and was never a source. Harry tells the judge that Pinkham had her conversation recorded without her knowledge. Now, Harry again admitted that that relationship had probably ended because of his paranoia. Watch this.
It broke down precisely because of the distrust, and it led to me not speaking to her for years. It seemed as though someone was leaking these stories, but I now believe that it will have come from listening into our communications, voicemail interception, and or blagging.
Well, I mean, of course, he has absolutely no idea about that. But Sidley's, how do you think Meghan Markle is going to feel about the fact Harry and Natalie Pinkham, who, by the way, is by all accounts, I don't know if you know her, Lady C, but a very lovely, fun woman that people love to hang out with and everyone gets along with, and Harry certainly adored her, and are back in contact.
I'm afraid for Harry and the royal family at this point, because what does Meghan have to lose? I would be furious. And then you put that level of Meghan Markle furious, maybe with a little sprinkle of narcissism. That's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, I think Meghan obviously is irritated with all the girl chatter, the woman chatter. I mean, we're not hearing much about guys he's hanging out with. Do you know what I mean?
He went to Ibiza with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the lie, everything Harry's saying is so traceable. Everything he's saying, there's pictures, there's emails, there's voicemails, there's text, and he's just
sometimes
lying
there's his own
there.
book. I mean, there were literally
there's
moments.
his own book.
But I'm shocked that he would admit that he was talking to an ex-girlfriend on the stand. This is not going to go well. I'm really scared what's going to happen in the next 7 days.
But
yeah,
guys,
really
we have to remember Meghan Markle is not jealous for the right reasons. It's not like, oh, this is my love and this is my husband. Meghan Markle just doesn't want Harry to have anybody else. Meghan Markle is nothing without those titles. She's nothing without Prince Harry. She's nothing without the royal family. I mean, Harry goes away, she doesn't want anyone else to have him.
Well, she's supposed to be the one who reads and is beautiful. She's smart and beautiful.
Yes.
And he's never had that before. She needs to be the girl that everybody was dreaming of, including his brother, Prince William, that nobody was ever to get. And now it's showing that Harry was kind of loose.
Well, yeah, but
he
also
was loose with the women.
Also, we know because of the evidence, two things. Number one, Harry still feels deeply emotional about these women. Number two, these women are the polar opposite of Meghan Markle. They have still never cashed in to this day. They never sold them out. And it is quite striking seeing that comparison. But of course, Steph, you wrote, and I think you're totally correct in this, looks like all the Chelsea Davy talk really got to Meghan Markle. Prince Harry ended up making the entire case about his wife, OMG. And he knew he had to do this. I believe this moment was rehearsed with David Sherborne, but let me just show you. He chokes up at the end.
I've never believed that my life is open season to be commercialized by these people. To act in the public interest is to interest the public. I fundamentally reject that. Having my life, like others, commercialized in this way since I was a teenager, delving into every aspect of my private life, listening to calls, blagging flights so they could see where I was going. It was a time when everyone was in competition with each other. To sit here and go through this again, and to hear them claim in their defense that I don't have any right to privacy, is disgusting. They have made my wife's life an absolute misery, my lord.
But Nancy, as you pointed out, the Sussex squad have officially driven off the cliff with Meghan Markle. Is she unstable, weak, thriving, or unbothered? Because it can't be all four before lunch. And this is just one example of it.
That Prince Harry broke down after he gave his last statement when he said, the Mail has made Meghan's life a misery.
So Meghan just released a video, and to me, this screams, we're unbothered.
So which is it, right, ladies? Which is it? Is she devastated, as Harry says, or is she unbothered?
May I make a point?
Please.
First of all, Meghan Markle isn't a part of the claim. The claim covers a period before Meghan Markle came into Harry's life. And Harry also stretches it going back to his mother and his mother's death and his mother's life when she was alive with the press, all of which is totally irrelevant. And already we have a big issue with the statute of limitations. So Harry is expanding something that is already beyond the statute of limitations both ways. That's, I think also well, let me just leave it at that for the moment.
Well, no, that's a very good point. No, that is a very good point, Lady C. What I just wanted to ask about as well, though, was specifically Chelsea Davy, who has become, again, a big factor in this case. Salty Duchess posted on this, Prince Harry needs serious help to get over his unhealthy obsession with Chelsea Davy, who dumped him almost 20 years ago. Chelsea dumped him because he was a needy, unstable, paranoid junkie, self-soothing with booze and Class A drugs, and used press intrusion to extract herself. This is what he said in regards to the woman who got away. Watch.
I was never suspicious of Chelsea in relation to stories like this, but I was of her friends. If I saw this story at the time, I would have been very frustrated and angry. I would have questioned how Associated found out this information, but at the same time, I would have felt like I had to accept this as the reality of my life. This sort of intrusion was terrifying for Chelsea. It made her feel like she was being hunted and the press had caught her. And it was terrifying for me too, because there was nothing I could do to stop it. And now she was in my world. She was shaken, and I was really paranoid about trying to protect our privacy, as the article says. Their behaviour and treatment of Chelsea was not normal. I was really worried something bad was going to happen.
Lady C, he's not over her. You don't want to keep bringing up your ex, do you? I mean, I certainly wouldn't.
Well, I can't remember which one of the girls made the point about a lawyer. Chelsea is a lawyer. Did you know that? Chelsea's a lawyer. Chelsea has a very good degree. Chelsea's beautiful. Chelsea is everything Meghan would have liked to have been and couldn't even be in that cable network show Suits because she was only ever a paralegal. Oh, sorry, Dan, I've forgotten what you asked me.
Well, why is he not over her? Why does the spectre of Chelsea Davies still hang so significantly over his life? She doesn't want to speak about him, Lady C. I mean, she very recently did a very respectful piece in the Evening Standard about her new life and her lovely new husband, her lovely new children. I mean, look at these beautiful photographs. She didn't mention Harry once, but he, I don't believe, is over her. What really went on in terms of the end of their relationship?
Well, my understanding is that she effectively dumped him because she got tired of his behavior. And, you know, I mean, let's face facts. Most girls at first will think, oh, it's wonderful. I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to be a royal duchess. And then they quickly realize the reality. And very few girls who are from privileged backgrounds, which to an extent Chelsea Davies is. I mean, she's not from an old established family, but she is from a very well-off family. And she's had a very privileged life, and she mixes in very upper class circles. I can tell you, I know it because I've seen her at things, and I've met her at things with friends of mine. And she's a fully paid up member of, shall we say, the inner circle. She didn't want it. She wanted somebody who was going to be loving and stable and wouldn't cheat on her and didn't have drug issues and didn't have, you know, and would treat her well. And she's got that. She dumped Harry because Harry wasn't good enough for her. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And Harry struggles to understand that he was dumped because he wasn't up to the mark. So he has to blame the press.
Totally.
He has to blame everyone else.
For everything, though, even his drinking drugs problems. Now, look, one of the things, because we've got to look at some of the lighthearted side of this. I mean, I will say, just to remind everyone, today, Harry actually went to the House of Lords to have lunch with Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Now, I don't think that's appropriate, but what is quite amusing to me are the courtroom sketches of Harry, which Megan Small pointed out are alarming and said you have to give credit to the court artist who accurately highlighted Harry Mountbatten Windsor's alarming baldness in his drawings. And I did think that was one of the quite nice factors of what went on Sidley's. You know, Harry's just looking terrible. He's not looking happy, and this case has not been good for him.
No, and he's been doing the blame game and the victimhood game. And, you know, it's a lot easier to look at someone else than look at yourself in the mirror. And that's what Harry is used to. He grew up in this bubble, a silver spoon, if you will. And everyone was always protecting him. Now he's with Meghan Markle. And she lately has been throwing him to the wolves.
Yeah.
And it's just not something he wants. But
he doesn't know how to get out of it. I mean, does that look like a man who was dancing in the Montecito sun with his beautiful, smart, talented wife last weekend with their children running around? I mean, that is not thriving. That's nothing. And I go back to this, but I am quite nervous because when people get desperate, they do things really, really stupid. And
yeah.
I'm just afraid that Meghan Markle is so at the end of her rope that there could be a separation coming, allegedly. It's just allegedly saying, and I'm just afraid of what she's going to do or say and how she's going to really push Harry over the edge.
All going to explode. That is for certain. Now, look, you're not going to believe this. Harry is now taking a significant role in this Brooklyn Beckham versus Victoria and David Beckham situation. So I really wanted to speak about this in just one moment. We will do it as the Royal Uncancelled Aftershow continues. And I do just have to remind you all, Obviously, we are broadcasting a special edition of the show on YouTube, but usually the Royal Uncancelled Aftershow is on my Substack. I would love you to be part of it, to sign up and watch www.outspoken.live. And as I say, it's a really important free speech community. Now, Lady C and the Sidley twins, I don't even know what you think about this Brooklyn situation, Brooklyn Beckham versus Victoria and David Beckham. And I imagine we may come to a bit of fisticuffs about it, right? Because not everyone agrees with my views on this. But I think one thing that we can all agree on is that the one person in the world who Brooklyn Beckham should not be listening to at this juncture is Prince Harry, a man who not only destroyed his own family, but destroyed his own reputation in the way that he dealt with his exit from the royal family. But in this most extraordinary reporting from Rob Shooter of Shooter Scoop on Substack, he reveals that Prince Harry has actually been advising Brooklyn Beckham on how to leave your family. And in some ways, that isn't a total surprise because, of course, it was leaked to The Sun last year that they had formed this alliance, Nicola Peltz and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and Brooklyn Beckham, because, you know, they just so happened to sit next to each other at a dinner. Here's the reporting from Rob Shooter, who writes, Prince Harry has quietly stepped into an unexpected mentoring role. Seriously? If you're getting mentoring from Prince Harry, look at your life choices. Advising Brooklyn Beckham on how to navigate a very public break from his famous family. And yes, that guidance includes book advice. Harry sees a lot of himself in Brooklyn, and Insider says he doesn't want Brooklyn to make the same emotional and strategic mistakes he made when he first broke away. He's offered personal counsel, professional counsel, told him not to burn everything once because you only get one chance to tell your story the right way. Well, Harry, you did it the wrong way. You did it the wrong way. Harry stressed, this is according to The Insider, that honesty works best when it's controlled, thoughtful, and human. Privately, Harry has also warned Brooklyn of the aftermath. He told him the freedom is real, but so is the fallout. You lose people, you get misunderstood, and once it's out there, you can't take it back. Okay, Lady Colin Campbell, I have some sympathy for Brooklyn Beckham. I'll come into why. But if he is seriously following the Prince Harry playbook, then he's going to lose all public support, isn't he? This is the worst person to take any advice from about how to manage a sensitive situation like this.
Well, I think, Dan, only a fool would take advice from Harry and Meghan, who have totally cocked up their lives. You know, they have gone from the most popular couple in the United Kingdom and possibly on earth to the most unpopular couple. And what has unpopularized them is their own actions. Now, I also have a degree of sympathy for Brooklyn Beckham, because I have to tell you, when I read his comments, it was very evocative to me of my family and my situation with them. And I ended up writing a book called Daughter of Narcissus about my mother and how my father would just stand by and very pusillanimously just allow mummy to wreak havoc. And I mean, I used to say, oh, if that bitch thinks I'm going to be playing Happy Families so that she can pretend to the world that everything is okay, there's no way I'm going to be doing it. So I get that. And I actually have always thought, I've only met Victoria and David Beckham, so I don't really know them. But I have always had slight discomfort in the way she constantly poses and the sort of deadpan look, and everything is so contrived when she's in front of a camera. I found it discomforting, and he's basically saying that his mother is rather narcissistic, and I think that to me has the ring of truth. Sadly, I suspect he might well have married a version of his mother, because men often do marry their mothers. And it is said that Nicola Peltz, and I know this because of his relationship with the Hadid son, and how the Hadid family, Yolanda Hadid's son and Gigi and Bella Hadid's brother, and she could well be a bit of an operator, because she's evidently very fame hungry, and he could have married his mother, but it doesn't alter the fact that she is backing him up fairly, and he is speaking the truth, even though if he's married his mother, he better be careful, because the truth is going to come back and bite him. And also, I am pretty sure that he has that the Peltzes have an ironclad prenup. And what happens if he falls out with his family totally, and then falls out with the Peltzes?
Which I think is inevitable, actually.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. So that's my take on it. I think he's most likely speaking the truth, and I think there's merit. But I also think that he might have found that he's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, because he's married mummy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very fair and nuanced position. I really do. Because the thing is, Sidley's, like, I'm not getting away from the fact that Brooklyn Beckham is probably the world's biggest Nepo baby. I'm not taking away from that. But where I don't think there is a comparison between the royal family and the Beckhams is that King Charles and Camilla and Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who, are the evil figures in the story of Prince Harry and Meghan, they didn't act like the Beckhams. They didn't try and sell out Harry and Meghan like the Beckhams have tried to sell out their children at certain points. So I do understand that there are some parallels, but I think the comparison falls down. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I mean, first of all, Prince Harry mentoring Brooklyn Beckham, Peltz Beckham, on a relationship is like the Saudi government mentoring the world on gay marriage. I mean, it's ridiculous. Harry needs to just keep his mouth shut. We do not need any mentorship or advising from Prince Harry. He's a doofus. But Dan, I was reading your tweets when all this broke out, and I don't know them, and I know you do to a certain extent, and Lady Colin Campbell has met them,
and we trust you guys.
But so if there is bad blood in that family, and Victoria Beckham very well could be a narcissist, understand why, Dan. Why did they have to go public with it? Why be so public and throw your family under the bus? I'm sure everybody has cracks in the foundation. We all have problems. Nothing's perfect. I just don't understand why Brooklyn took this time to do it, and especially
in an Instagram story. I can see Lady Colin Campbell doing what you have done, and I've respected you for years because of it, is coming out, writing a book. Mm-hmm. You've gained trust with the public. That's why everybody loves you. That's what, Dan, you've created trust with the public. That's why we believe you. That's the thing. Brooklyn writing it in an Instagram story is a little gauche.
Lady C, did you want to come in?
Yes, I want to thank you, my dear. I wanted to make the point. I wrote my book after my mother was dead, and I wrote it at the behest of Dr. Erica Freeman, who suggested I write it, and she's one of the most eminent psychoanalysts on earth, maybe one of the top 4 or 5 that's ever existed. So it's not as if to say that I was being tacky and publicity seeking and doing it for Instagram posts or publicity. Exactly.
No.
And you didn't actually want, it wasn't like you were trying to cause difficulty or pain for your mother while she was alive. I mean, but I do agree with what you're saying, because of course you ideally do not want to air this dirty laundry. For me, it's the most upsetting thing, but obviously I have the most incredible mother who is so down to earth. I mean, Lady C knows her and is like the total opposite of a narcissist. And so it's not something I could ever imagine. Of course it's not. But in terms of my personal experience with the Beckhams, what I do know is that there was a strategy put in place, just like there is being done at the moment with Meghan and Harry, to use the children to save their reputation. And that is just a fact. And it was quite a clever strategy. It was Simon Fuller who came up with it. You might remember Simon Fuller. He was the guy who sort of turned this, he didn't create the Spice Girls, but he turned them into a global sensation. And then he launched the Pop Idol series, which of course made him a billionaire and launched the careers of Simon Cowell. So he's a very clever man, has always been close to the Beckhams and managed the Beckhams. And a decision was made because David, this is what's interesting and surprising, about 10 years ago, there were lots of rumors about his friendships with the likes of Rita Ora, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Victoria Beckham was very happy. There were huge strains in the marriage. And he did not want Victoria sharing the children on social media whatsoever. So he was sort of like in the Prince Harry position at the moment. Yeah. But they knew that they had to do something to turn around the publicity. And so a conscious decision was made after a succession of negative headlines about their marriage and about David's behavior that, and remember there were the Becky Leaks emails, which were appalling. And, you know, he swore at the, you know, honours committee and attacked Catherine Jenkins, the British opera singer, because she'd previously admitted to using drugs, and said how terrible it was that his UNICEF charity wasn't intending to fly him on private jet and that he didn't want to spend any of his own money. I mean, these emails were really devastating for him. So a PR decision was made. That PR decision was made to become the British Kardashians, to create a family brand. And they started sharing everything from that point onwards. So they shared cards that the children would write to their parents on big moments. And that's the issue that I have. And it's the reason that I have sympathy for what Brooklyn said, because he absolutely was a commodity at that point. And I think it's a really horrible thing.
Of course it was, because it did penetrate the States. I mean, we heard rumblings that there were problems in their marriage.
And they were.
But not to the effect that you just described. All we got was, oh, the happy Beckhams. So yeah, they did a great job at the PR. It's awesome. During the late Queen's funeral, Americans were in awe of him because he stood in the queue. And that was a big deal for all of us because we were watching on TV.
And it was a great thing. And that was the best of the Beckhams. And this is the thing. I don't want to make out, Lady C, that I just hate everything the Beckhams do. You know, I watched both of their most recent Netflix series. I think that they were very cleverly done. I do believe David Beckham is a patriot who loves the British royal family, and I think he absolutely did the right thing when he stood in that queue. Because remember, Lady C, the vile British TV presenters, Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield, had skipped the queue and then tried to lie about it. So this isn't just about me saying, oh, the Beckhams are terrible people, but I just think there are consequences if you turn your family into a brand.
Well, I'm not saying they're terrible people. I'm just saying that what Brooklyn Beckham posted, I mean, I could have written it myself. You know, I was totally identifying with the fact that you know, let's put it this way, where you have very vain parents or a very vain parent, and they are very aware of how they appear to people, they will use their spouses, their children. And I mean, we see actually a version of it happening in Montecito at the moment with Harry and Meghan. And I mean, Meghan is the proponent. Well, whoever was the proponent in the Beckham thing, the fact of the matter is they all went along with it. And, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. They have lived by publicity. They have lived by image. And now he is basically saying that my parents are briefing against me and my wife, and I don't like it.
100%. And look, this is what we're now getting out of Montecito. You know, the children. Oh, this video was filmed by Lily. Lady C. Oh, here's Doria in the pool. We're all fine. We're all happy. I mean, it's starting to happen. They are starting to do it, Lady C.
Oh, incidentally, Dan, Doria is back living and working full time in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Full-time.
Exactly.
She has a full-time job as a social worker in LA.
Exactly. She
Such
doesn't
a
want to be
joke.
at that mansion. Now, by the way, this has all been lost because of the court case and everything else that's been going on. But finally, we have the official With Love Meghan figures. And I mean, they are just beyond disastrous. Beyond disastrous. So finally, the mainstream media is picking up what we've been reporting for some time, which is that With Love Meghan is just over. It's dead. But it's when you dig into the figures that you just realize how catastrophic an experiment this has been for Netflix. So look at this. With Love Meghan ratings crater. This is Deadline reporting this, you know, which is the industry Bible online. With Love Meghan, the lifestyle series fronted by Meghan Markle, did not cook up much of a following in the second half of 2025. The series was viewed only 2 million times in the last 4 months of the year. It was the 1,217th most watched title on Netflix over the second half of the year. The show's special With Love Meghan holiday celebration fared slightly better, coming in at 1,015 on the list with 2.4 million views. All of this comes amid reports that Netflix has cancelled the show. The New York Post suggested earlier today that With Love Meghan will not have a third season on the streamer, but there have been conversations about more holiday specials. Netflix declined to comment on those reports. Well, I'm sure they did, Lady C. I'm sure they did. I mean, come on. 1,217. This is this the biggest TV flop ever?
One to the left eye. Well, can I make a point?
Please.
And I was a part of the Netflix documentary Murder in Monaco.
You were the star, Lady C, in the trailer.
Thank you, darling. Well, do you know it at one point, I know it went up to number 4. It was number 4 in the documentary ratings. So I don't know if it went any higher than that. But I just make the point that I'm no big cheese.
No, but she didn't make any top 10 list. She didn't make any top 10 list in any country in the world.
She didn't make the top 1,000.
I mean,
one turn left eye. Come on.
I mean, Sidley's
all of us one turn left eye.
What I loved about the briefing, Sidley's, is that it was like, oh, she wants all of these, she is pitching these new specials, but one of them's Valentine's Day. It's like, well, that ain't happening. That's not happening. Valentine's Day is like a couple of weeks away.
Well, first of all, we need to set the record straight. There was never a second season.
No.
I don't know where anyone's getting
One.
that. This entire thing was filmed in the spring of 2024. That is a fact.
Including the
Netflix
holiday episode, by the way. Including the holiday episode.
Exactly. And Netflix took it and they said, what the heck are we going to do with this? Because there were no pickup shots. They didn't take constructive. If there had been a second season, Netflix would have taken what everybody was saying and saying, we need to fix this a little bit. You know, she's acting like a raving lunatic and we need to dial her back a couple notches. But it was all filmed in the spring of 2024. And that was it. They fulfilled what they said they were going to do with her. They gave her every opportunity. And that's the end of it. It's over.
I think she's had too many chances with Netflix.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, do you like that expression? It's like you put a police officer behind someone for 500 miles, they're eventually going to get a ticket. It's like Megan's mileage program at Netflix has expired.
Yeah.
They're done with her. They want nothing to do with her. It's like, put her behind bars, let her go.
Let her go.
Like, it's
But
done.
see, but that's what makes her so dangerous. Don't you guys think that? Doesn't that make her a little dangerous now?
Because 100%, because Lady C, I mean, this is now true desperation that's coming. True desperation is coming. And I agree that is dangerous. Do you?
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, not only in terms of their lack of a career and their financial difficulties, but can you imagine if Harry loses substantially the Associated Newspapers part of his part of the case? He's looking at millions of pounds that he has to pay not only Associated Newspapers, but David Sherborne and his lawyers and his legal team. To add to the fact that Meghan and Harry are and money's so tight with them at the moment that they have had to get rid of all of their expensive senior staff. She's back with Sunshine Sachs, which she could afford on her $50,000 per episode. So, I mean, Sunshine Sachs at this juncture is not going to be very, it's not going to be Harry and Meghan aren't going to be a lucrative part of their clientele, but she needs somebody. And I mean, everywhere you look, it's devastation. They failed at everything. And as soon as trouble comes in and poverty comes in through the door, love goes out the window. And I'm sure we all know that the relationship is extremely troubled, extremely volatile, and under tremendous pressure, especially as a result of Meghan having promised Harry that she would be able to turn them from the most popular royal couple on earth into the most celebrated royal couple in the whole of the world and make them billions. And it's not happening.
Billions.
It's not happening.
No, it's not. It's really not. Look, I did want to speak about Catherine and William because they had such a lovely visit to Scotland, and the images coming out of Scotland were just beautiful. Of course, this was very much a purposeful strategy for William and Catherine to keep calm and carry on. As Harry caused havoc in London, they made sure that just like King Charles and Camilla, they were nowhere near the battle site. And there were some sweet moments like this of Catherine. Look at the way that she just runs over to a member of the crowd. And what annoys me so much is there was so much of that, so much genuine love. Darren Donaldson, who's one of the Dan Wootton Outspoken community moderators, was there and just had beautiful moments with both of them. But of course, the mainstream media decided to pick up on this heckling incident. And the reason I want to show it to you is because I want to expose what this really was. It was a setup by the Republic Organisation, which is literally an organisation designed to destroy the British royal family. And they're going to keep doing this anytime any British royal goes. And so we've got to start waking up to what this really is. Watch.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you been covering up for Andrew?
Hey, go away, man. Go away. That's enough. There's children here, right? Police officer, right? You carry on, you can be arrested briefly. Okay.
Now, of course, ladies, see, we live in a free society, right? Like free speech all the way. But what just annoys me is the way that the mainstream media are like, Catherine and William heckled as if there was some type of big turnout. And actually, Lady C, just like with King Charles last year, one activist working on behalf of Republic. That was it.
Well, the whole thing is imbalanced, isn't it? But they would like to present it as if they are being balanced. In fact, they're not. What they are doing is they are propagandizing
Yes.
a false narrative, which is that, and presenting a false scenario, because of course every royal visit is announced, so everybody knows where it's going to be. And so when you have Republic coming and it's one or two people, but this Dan, is how always activists undermine established orders. I mean, there's nothing unique about
No.
it.
It's just disappointing how the mainstream media are so pathetic these days. That they're
cowards.
Yeah.
They're total cowards. But you know what? It doesn't work because we won. I mean, we just talked about those ratings in the court of public opinion. I mean, we're two West Coast liberals and we're royalists. I mean, good luck, Republic, with your yellow signs. Who cares? You guys are nothing. Hello? I mean, nobody cares.
Yeah.
We all get together. We love the royal family. We're monarchists, and we're going to keep them around as long as we can. And we're winning right now, and they can't stand it.
Prince William and Princess Catherine have never been so popular in the United States of America. Ever. So
ever.
Well, look,
so
I adore
Keep
you
going.
all. I adore this collaboration, bringing the Sidley twins, Lady Colin Campbell, together for this special live episode of Outspoken. Thank you so much, ladies. I really, really do appreciate it. And of course, you've got to follow both wonderful channels. Lady Colin Campbell, of course, has fantastic royal analysis and so much more actually on her Lady Colin Campbell channel. And Stephanie and Nancy are the hosts of Twin Talks, which is their brilliant YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to them both. Thank you so much. And of course, if you do want first access to our Royal Uncancelled After Show, then you can sign up to my Substack, www.outspoken.live. First access to the Royal Uncancelled After Show with no advertising whatsoever. And you can watch it live or on demand at www.outspoken.live. Thank you so much.